This happened in December 2023. I had some extra vacation days that were about to expire, so I decided to use them all at once and take a trip to Kassel, a hill station in the Himalayas. I'd just gotten my brand new bike, a Himalayan 450 with barely 600 kilometers on the odometer, and couldn't wait to break it in properly. For some utterly stupid reason, I thought traveling at night would be a good idea. Maybe it was to avoid traffic or for the thrill of it. Honestly, I don't remember. The first few hours were uneventful, and I was feeling pretty good about my solo adventure. Around 2:30 a.m., I began ascending the winding mountain roads. Zigzagging my way uphill, I started feeling the strain after 5 straight hours of riding. The cold didn't help, and my exhaustion was catching up with me. Then I saw it, a dim electric lamp in the distance. A chai vendor. Relief washed over me as I pulled up. The bend where he had set up shop was steep. I carefully parked my bike uphill in first gear, making sure it wouldn't roll, and went to grab some chai. The vendor, a local guy with a moped, struck up some small talk. He mentioned that he was there so late because army trucks often passed through at night and stopped for tea. And then, everything went to hell. We were in the middle of chatting when he suddenly froze, gesturing for me to shut up. I saw his eyes darting towards his makeshift stove table. He grabbed his phone and wallet, pocketing them in a hurry. At first, I didn't understand what was going on. Then I heard it, a faint sound of people singing, soft, haunting, and coming from above us, above the towering cliff wall that hugged the road. There's no way anyone could be up there. Even a monkey couldn't climb that sheer rock face. The vendor's expression darkened. He grabbed my elbow, leaning close, and hissed, "Saab! Bago jaldi! Sir, run quick!" Without waiting for my reaction, he jumped on his moped, muttered something under his breath, and sped downhill, disappearing into the darkness. I stood there frozen for a second before the sound of a man's voice, clear and angry, snapped me out of it. It came from above the cliff. "Vahiruk! Stay where you are!" the voice bellowed. Hell no. I flicked my cigarette to the ground, yanked the keys out of my pocket, and scrambled onto my bike. My hands were trembling as I started it. The road downhill wasn't an option. I was boxed in, and turning around a 200-kilogram bike on that narrow road with a steep drop to the left was impossible. The only way out was up. I slammed the throttle and sped uphill, praying my bike wouldn't skid on the curvy, frost-laden roads. The voice started again, screaming curses, and to my horror, it was moving with me, following from the cliff above. I couldn't process how it was keeping up. Was it running? Floating? I didn't care. I just wanted out. The incline steepened, and my speed hovered around 40 kilometers per hour. Any faster and I'd fly off the edge. But whatever it was above me was getting closer. I saw a straight stretch of road up ahead and pushed my bike harder. But as I hit a sharp bend at speed, I overdid it. The ABS kicked in and the bike jolted beneath me. My tires skidded just a bit, and I stalled. Then I heard it, the sound of loose stones tumbling from the cliff. I looked up, and my blood ran cold. Something pitch black was scaling down the cliff with horrifying speed. It had too many limbs, 5 or 6 at least, and moved more like an insect than a person. Before I could restart my engine, it leaped. The thing hurtled through the air and slammed into me, striking my shoulder with one of its clawed limbs and smashing headfirst into the fuel tank of my bike. Its momentum sent everything flying, my bike, me, and the creature, toward the edge of the cliff. I hit the guardrail, and my bike landed on top of me, pinning me down. My shoulder screamed in pain, but the creature didn't stop. It was still falling, straight over the edge of the cliff. The last thing I remember before pure survival instinct kicked in was waiting for the thud. It never came. The silence was more terrifying than the sound of its claws scraping against the road. Somehow, I just knew it was still out there, and worse, it could climb back up. A bright light suddenly illuminated the road. The screech of brakes followed, and an army truck ground to a halt behind me. I've never been so relieved in my life. The soldiers jumped out, shouting, thinking I'd had a normal accident. They pulled my bike off me and checked for injuries. Aside from a nasty dent in my fuel tank and some bruises, I was intact. I followed the truck up the mountain pass and told the soldiers what had happened. To my surprise, they believed me. Apparently it's a local legend. a dakin, or a forest witch. These creatures are said to haunt the mountains and kidnap travelers or children from nearby villages. I'd never put much stock in ghost stories before, but now I don't question anything. When I got home, I looked at my bike. The dent on the fuel tank is still there, a reminder that something very real and very dangerous almost got me that night. I still ride, but never in the mountains at night. Edit, I have a picture of the dented tank for those curious. Believe what you will, but this wasn't just an overactive imagination. I hope I never encounter that thing again.